Hello and welcome back to the channel. On today's video, we are going to be doing an overview on the brand new 2025 Truth 35 MG. This is the 33 MG's big brother. And just like the name suggests, it's a 35-inch axle-to-axle bow. This would be my preferred shooter. It is at 332 feet per second IBO. However, in my experience and through my testing, it seems to be shooting just a little bit faster than 332. But without further ado, we're gonna dive into this overview, cover some things about Truth, and kind of go from there. So just like the 33 MG, this bow is completely made of magnesium. So this has a magnesium riser, magnesium limb pocket, and magnesium cams. All of the fasteners on this bow are grade 5 titanium, which means no rust and a little better at sucking up some vibration. So with that being said, this bow is extremely light. It comes in at 3.55 pounds right out of the box. So on top of that, there's a couple cool little key features that Truth added into this bow that other bows don't have. So first would be this little limb-driven cable attachment point. It's pretty cool. It uses a set screw. It works great. I don't know how much some people will use it. Some people might use it a lot. Some people might not use it at all. That's totally fine. But it is a cool little added feature. Number two, they curved their cable roller guard. This allows for easy adjustment to get an Allen wrench in here and adjust your rest left and right. Also, this bow is running a 5-piece system instead of a 3-piece system. I've come quite fond of 5-piece systems. My Mach 33 is a 3-piece system. It shoots great, it works great. I have great strings on that bow from Unbound Archery. However, these 5-piece systems are a little easier to kind of know that nothing is really gonna move here in relation to your cam, because as these yokes stretch or this cable stretches, this yoke is gonna continually even out that pressure because it is a 5-piece system. So that's an awesome feature on here. This bow also is utilizing a rotating draw mod, so you can rotate from the shortest to the longest draw length all on one mod. No need to purchase additional pieces. Now I'd like to cover a little something about vibration and noise. There's been a little bit of chatter on forums and other places that the Truth bows have some vibration or some noise to them. So I did some testing, especially with a decibel meter. I tested a Truth 33 MG, a LiftX 33, my Mach 33, a Bowtech Virtue, and a RX9 Ultra, all against each other, and ran them through the decibel meter. Now, a couple things to note on my decibel meter testing. I do everything with the bow in spec and shooting a bare shaft bullet hole at 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15 yards. You may ask why I'm doing this for a simple decibel meter test. And I will tell you, in my experience, that if you were to take a bow right out of the package, slap a rest on it, and shoot an arrow, you are not getting the true feel of that bow. You do not get the true feeling of a bow unless it is properly set up, properly tuned, in time, in sync with proper pre-lean. We'll get into pre-lean later. I have videos on pre-lean if you want to know what that is. However, it is very important that when you're testing for vibration and sound, or you want to know how a bow feels, that bow needs to be in tune and it needs to be set up to manufacturer specifications, because that is where that bow is going to perform the best and have the least amount of vibration. If you're getting a 2-inch knock right tear, all that excess energy from that bow being out of tune is gonna go into the riser and you will feel it in your hand. With that being said, this bow, when set up properly, it doesn't have any more vibration or any, it might have a tiny bit less than some of the others on the market, but it's very comparable to everything that has come out in the last couple years as far as vibration goes. Now, when it comes to noise, out of all the bows that I tested, this one tested the lowest at 79.9 decibels, followed by the Lift X at 80.0 decibels. So this was 0.1 decibel quieter than the Lift in my testing. Now, moving down to K-Set. K-Set is a phenomenal system. It's run by a 1/4-inch drive, and that 1/4-inch drive will move this cam left and right. Now, you may look at it and think that it's similar to deadlock or limb shift, but it's actually quite different. This system, each spacer on each side of this cam is joined together and works together to move that cam left and right. What you do to this side is also affecting this side. So if you tighten this side, if you tighten the right side, the left side is going to loosen. If you tighten the left side, the right side is going to loosen and shift that cam left and right. So how do you use K-Set? Let's go back to that knock right example that I made earlier. If you had a knock right tear, you would tighten the opposite side of the tear. So knock right, you would tighten the left side. Knock left, you would tighten the right side. And that will move your cams left and right, which will also help you set your initial pre-lean at brace. When that pre-lean is set properly, this cam draws like butter. And that's no exaggeration. It draws great. And this goes for every bow on the market also, if a cam has too much pre-lean at brace, when you go to draw that bow back, you're drawing it back with cam lean. And what is that gonna do? That's gonna run this string, your aiming string, across this cam track, diagonally across it, instead of it coming out of the track nice and smooth. When that string rubs up against that cam, that's when you get those gritty, really stiff feeling draw cycles. While we're on the topic of draw cycle, this draw cycle is very smooth and linear with a little bit of stiffness on the front end of that draw cycle. And it kind of just eases into the valley. It doesn't really dump hard into the valley, which I'm not a huge fan of. It just kind of eases into your let off and holds phenomenally on target. As I mentioned with the 33 MG, this also has the same exact limb pockets and limb system, so you are still getting the benefit of 50% less flex at full draw compared to other bows in the 35-inch axle to axle range, which is going to give you a longer axle to axle at full draw than other bows in its class, which is going to relate back to how well this bow holds and how forgiving it is shot to shot when you are shooting downrange. This bow holds on target phenomenally well and is an absolute shooter. I firmly believe that if Truth can keep putting out the quality of product that they are putting out currently, that this might be the best and most tunable bow on the market at this time. In my honest opinion, I've passed on a lot of opportunities to bring bows into Berge Bowsmith and onto my website. However, this is the closest thing to like almost revolutionary archery tech that I have seen in a handful of years. And I'm super excited to be a part of the Truth team and be able to offer these bows to you guys through my website, bergiebowsmith.com. You guys can stop over there and pick up a brand new Truth bow if that's something that you're interested in, and take advantage of 10% off any of the accessories that you add when purchasing a bow. Now, let's go into my only gripe with this bow. And it's a pretty small one, and it is manageable, and it is workaroundable. A universal mount Hamskea Epsilon does not fit. You have to use a core mount Hamskea rest in order for it to fit on this bow. The universal just doesn't fit. This mounting hole is a little too far back. Now, I will say I did have a discussion with the team over at Truth and expressed my concern with this issue. And I was reassured that they were aware of the issue and it will be remedied in next year's models, and that the core mount is what is going to have to be used if you want to use a Hamskea on this bow. Every other rest I've tried, QAD, Limb Driver, Prophecy QD, Prophecy Standard, Ripcord, they all fit, they all work. I only had a little issue with the Hamskea Epsilon and Trinity on these. So without further ado, that is the end of today's video. Like I said, I'm super stoked to be offering these. I definitely think that these are a winner of a choice. And if you're looking for a super stable and forgiving platform to pick up for this fall, give the Truth a look. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.